Candy. Thank you, Oscar. Hey, Oscar,
Hey.
I got a question for you.
What's up?
All right, you're really good on the violin.
Oh my gosh.
What's that process been like for you? How in the world? What was it like at the beginning when you picked it up, and how'd you get so darn good?
Well,
in a very short order of time, you have to explain.
Well, there's this thing called practice. People don't like to talk about, but it's true. I tell my students that, you want to get better, you want to be able to play something and pick it up and actually do something with it, you got to practice. You have to actually get your hands dirty and go for it. So I can lecture all I want, I can show you all I want, but until you physically actually get in there and do it, nothing really happens. You got to actually do something with it. So what about you? Because I know you do photography.
Oh gosh, I've had a camera in my hand to some degree since I was 16. That was when I was given my first camera for my birthday. And for the most part, up until a couple of years ago, I always left it on program. As in automatic.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to say. So I didn't know that there was a different way. I didn't know that there was a different way in which I could actually see something and produce what I want.
Right.
Sounds like science mind. And only in the past couple of years did I start watching videos. I started reading things, but it still did me no good until I actually went out and took it off of program and practiced putting it on manual. And at the beginning, thank God it's digital, because at the beginning I got really awful shots, too dark, too light, blurry, not enough, blah, blah. But now I'm getting better and better, and I can see the progression of how good my pictures are getting, because I've dedicated to at least go out once a week. It can't just be once a month or once in a blue moon.
Right.
And I'm getting really good at it
I've
I'm
seen your
practicing
pictures.
on a consistent basis. So practice
I love that.
helps a lot.
Practice, practice, practice. I love it.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Karen. You guys, welcome to CSLDallas. My name is Oscar. I'm the music director here. And on behalf of Reverend Karen, we got Tracy Brown in the house today and Candy Williams. We're so glad you are here. So, here at CSLDallas, a Center for Spiritual Living, we are all about being radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, transforming lives. And if you're a longtime member, or you're new to the community, or you're watching us for the first time online, know that you are loved, you are seen, and you are home. Thank you for being here. So we're going to get centered. We're going to drop on down with Pour Yourself in Me.
Pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour your joy in me. Pour your joy in me. Pour your joy into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit. Pour your joy in me. Pour your joy into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit. Pour your love in me. Pour your love in me. Pour your love into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit. Pour your love in me. Pour your love into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit.
I invite you to take a breath. Allow that limitless, boundless love to be felt. It's that divine oceanic substance that's everywhere present. It is omnipresent. That no matter where we are, at every single moment, at every single place. This love is right here. It is right here around us. It is right here within us. And so we open up and allow that love to be poured into our life and allow ourselves to be that love, to pour it out so that love meets love. And every single person, at every single place, in every single circumstance and situation, that love is pouring everywhere, and it is present. And so as we be that love, our lives are blessed, and we bless the lives of everything that we touch and come in contact with. That is a mighty love, and this is a mighty place and thing to be. And so how good it is that we be that now. And so it is.
Pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Whoa, wonderful Spirit.
Yes. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Brad, and especially to Candy and Oscar. We're so grateful that we're able to pour all of the spiritual inspiration, all of the teachings and practices of the science of mind, that we get to pour it out not only to our community here locally, but we also get to pour it all over this country and the world. And we want to thank you for pouring your generosity into this community, especially during this pandemic time. We really want to thank you for every single person. No amount is too small, and no amount of love is too big. And so I ask you to continue to pour your love through financial giving today and through the summer months especially. We invite you to give and to give generously, and I promise you that we will be so responsible in using that love that you pour into this community to the best and highest good that we possibly can make decisions to do with. So thank you. You can text give. The text number is here on your screen or on Facebook. In the Zoom room, you can go to CSLDallas.org/donate now. And you can also, if you have the app Easy Tithe, you can securely give through that way, through the Easy Tithe app, CSL Dallas, and also through Facebook, Donate. There's many ways to give, and we appreciate your generosity. One, two, three, four.
Never be afraid to love. Never be afraid to just be. Cast away the chains of doubt. Have the courage to be free. Don't cloud your eyes with others' lies. See only what you want to see. Duplicate this simple truth. courage to be free. Open your eyes, you can fly. Open your eyes, you can fly. You can fly. You can fly. Never be afraid to love. Never be afraid to just be. You gotta cast away the chains of doubt and have the courage to be free. Don't cloud your eyes with others' lies. See only what you wanna see. Just duplicate this simple truth and have the courage to be free. Open your eyes, you can fly. Open your eyes, you can fly. You can fly. Oh, you can fly. Oh, fly, so go on and fly. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, sing. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Never be afraid to love. Love is what you're made of. Love is what we're made of. Yeah. Oh, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh.
Woo! Candy Williams. Oh my gosh. Thank you for that gift. Boy, you can fly. You really. Goodness. So we are so blessed today to have one of our own. Our awesome leader in our community, one of the incredible leaders in our community, and licensed spiritual coaches, also known as practitioners, here with us today. And what you may not know about Tracy Brown is that she had a lot to do with the current month's issue of Science Mind magazine, Inclusion in Action. Do you think she had something to do with this? She wrote the daily guides in August. So you want to make sure that you get this issue. You can get a subscription online, so you don't have to wait or go out to a Barnes & Noble, so that you can participate in the daily guides with all of us. And we're so blessed to have Tracy Brown here with us today.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh my goodness. So there is no accident that the theme this month is practice, practice, practice. Of course, it's not an accident. It's well thought out in advance. But I'm listening to the music this morning and going, oh, there was some practicing going on to bring that lovely voice, that amazing music from all of our musicians. Practice, practice, practice. And I'm over on the side going, I can fly, yeah, I can fly, Candy, yes I can. Because I've been practicing incorporating the Science of Mind principles in my life. At the top of the service, you heard Reverend Karen and Oscar talking about how important practice is for them in things that they are interested in. What can you be more interested in than having a fabulous life? And that is what the Science of Mind principles teach us. So looking up the definition, if you went to Google right now, go to your smartphone and just verbally say, what's the definition of practice? You're going to see something very similar to this. The definition of practice is the actual application or use of an idea, a belief, or a method. The actual application or use of an idea, a belief, or a method, as opposed to theories relating to that idea, belief, or method. So in order to practice, there has to be some application. There must be some use of the principle or the idea or the belief or the thought. It doesn't happen just by thinking about it. In other words, just reading about Science of Mind principles, nah, that is not enough. It's not the same as living spiritual principle. And anytime I say Science of Mind principles, you know already, I'm talking about those universal spiritual principles that are the undergirding of all of life, of the way life is and how it works. And those universal principles are underneath many, many different spiritual paths. So if you are not familiar with Science of Mind, and I mentioned that, just think about, what do you know is absolutely true, right? What do you know, as Oprah would say, what do you know for sure? Like it's absolute, there is no changing it. And when you know that and you incorporate that into your life, oh my goodness, your life really changes. Now, I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings here, but some of you are just fans of Ernest Holmes. You're just fans of spiritual principle or living. And you can be a fan of Science of Mind without practicing it. Now, many of you are students of Science of Mind, students of spiritual principle. But the reality is you can be a student of Science of Mind and you still may not be living it in your daily life. You're studying it. You can say, oh, Tracy, I just took another class. You know, this is my 8th class. I am getting so good at this. And if I ask you, when's the last time you meditated? When's the last time you did a spiritual mind treatment? When's the last time you had a difficulty in your life and you manifested something different that you wanted? And if your answer to me is, oh, well, yeah, well, I don't really like meditating. It doesn't do much for me. And I took foundations and I learned how to do a spiritual mind treatment, but I went to a practitioner and had them do a prayer for me about, 4 Sundays ago, and that really worked. Then you're a student, but you are not practicing it in your daily life, in the way that you live. And so this message today, everything else I say from this point on, this message is not for the fans. It's not for the students who are not practicing. This message is specifically for those of you who are practicing or who are making a commitment in this very breath to be someone who practices science of mind and universal spiritual principles in their daily lives. And in that way, that is what actually makes you a practitioner. A practitioner is anyone who practices these teachings in the way they navigate the world and the way that they live their lives and the choices that they make. So since that applies to you, then I want to share with you what Ernest Holmes had to say about being a practitioner of this science, this faith, this philosophy, and this way of life we call science of mind. In 1932, Ernest Holmes wrote this: "A practitioner uses thought definitely and for specific purposes." Repeating, a practitioner is someone who uses thought definitely and for specific purposes. And the more definitely she uses the law, the more directly will it respond. Just breathe and take that in. I'm going to read it one more time. Take it in. A practitioner uses thought definitely and for specific purposes. And the more definitely she uses the law, the more directly will the law respond. It's really no different than what you heard earlier. Oscar said he picked up the violin and he practiced it over and over and over and began to see his ability develop. If I were to simply hand Oscar a violin, he wouldn't need sheet music. He wouldn't need his instructor or coach standing right over his shoulder and telling him what to do. He would be able to take the bow, position the violin, and begin to play something. Now, I didn't say I was going to request a specific song that he may or may not know, right? But he would know what to do with the violin. Do you know what to do when someone hands you a situation or a problem or a condition that you weren't expecting? Do you know what to do? Do you know how to use spiritual mind treatment? Do you know to remind yourself with an affirmation that there is only good or something that is leading to good? And I know that and I believe it, and so right here and now, I am not concerned about this condition that is entering my life. Do you know how to use these principles? And that's what Ernest Holmes tells us to do, to use our thoughts in a definite way, to use our thoughts toward a specific purpose, that we are directing our thoughts to the condition we want. How many times have you heard the saying around here or in our community, think about what you want, not what you don't want? That's all that's talking about, right? That I choose my thoughts definitely, and I point my thoughts toward a specific purpose. And when I do that, it just becomes natural for me to rely on the spiritual truth because I have laid that foundation and I have practiced training my mind over and over and over again. Ernest Holmes reminds us that trained thought is more powerful than untrained thought. Because our untrained thought, our brain will have a party. Our brain will be just like, yeah, let's panic. Oh no, you remember your third grade teacher told you that you really weren't all that smart, right? If you don't train your thought, your third grade teacher's thoughts are going to fill your mind and drive what you do, and that is not applying the principle. Ernest Holmes also said that a practitioner, someone who practices science of mind, must know and state that there are no obstacles in the pathway of truth. No obstacles, no, like zero, none. No obstacles in the pathway of truth. And so he describes the mental attitude of the practitioner like this. The mental attitude of the practitioner is one of denial toward every false condition that opposes the principle of life. The principle of life is one of absolute perfection. And I love this. Actually, I have this next sentence on the wall in my bathroom, so I see it every day. God's world is perfect, and this is the principle we have to demonstrate. God's world is perfect, and this is the principle we must demonstrate. But in our physical manifest world, what happens so often is there's the appearance of lack, or there's a medical diagnosis, or our partner asks for a divorce, or our boss has to lay us off because through the pandemic, there are some financial challenges. In the physical world, things happen. But if we've been practicing, we can remember God's world is perfect. There's only one life. That life is God. God's world is perfect. God's world is my world now. And it's my job to demonstrate that principle, that the world that God created is perfect. And I get to demonstrate that in my life, regardless of what the condition is, regardless of what's in the news, regardless of the fear that comes up. I want to demonstrate the perfection of life itself. But I can only do that if I've been practicing. So the answer to the question, why do we want to practice? We want to practice so that when things happen every day, that we are so grounded in principle that life must respond to us in terms of the way we believe and the way we know it to be. Holmes also wrote that life responds to us in the way we approach it. We should choose that which we want to embody. We should choose that which we want to embody. And by paying constant attention to that, our life will take on those characteristics. Do you get that? So if I'm practicing every day and I am filling myself up from the tip of my toes all the way through the crown of my head with the truth every day, and I practice believing it and knowing it and showing it and demonstrating it and manifesting it and sharing it with others, the more I practice that, no matter what happens in my life, I am only a breath away from the power and the peace and the beauty and the abundance and the love and the joy that I know to be the truth of Spirit operating in, as, and through me. So if I identify myself with abundance, and I identify myself with success, and I identify myself with love, guess what I'm going to experience? Abundance, success, love. So the reason we practice is so that we can more easily navigate everything that shows up in our lives that is unlike the truth, and more quickly return to the truth. So how cool is it that this entire month we get to remember to practice, practice, practice. Now, I practice because I know it works in my life by now. I've been practicing Science of Mind principles since 1986. And actually, I was practicing these principles, many of them before that. I just didn't know there was a collection of ideas and thoughts and directions called Science of Mind, because they're universal spiritual principles. And I was able to tap into some of them without studying them. But now I do study and practice. And I am a fan, a huge fan of universal spiritual principles. And I practice. Because being a fan or being a student alone is not enough. And I know you've already heard this, but I want to repeat it because for me, and I hope for you, I can never hear it enough because it reminds me of Ernest Holmes' directions to me and to you and to all of us. So in the conclusion, in the Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes has a powerful, powerful 3 or 4 paragraphs. And some of my favorite lines you heard last week, and you're going to hear them again now. So take a breath and let these words wash over you and embed themselves deep in your heart and your mind. Ernest Holmes wrote, "I would rather see a student of this science prove its principle than to have her repeat all the words of wisdom that have ever been uttered. In the long run, no one can live our life for us. To hold one's thoughts steadfastly to the constructive, to that which endures, and to the truth. It may not be easy in a rapidly changing world, but to the one who makes the attempt, much is guaranteed." Please join me in prayer. Much is guaranteed. From that one power, that one source that is the infinite intelligence operating in, as, and through all of life. I place my hand on the pendant around my neck. And I remember that it is the African symbol that means, except for God, there would be nothing. The Jinyame symbol takes me into the perfection and the wholeness of life itself. Never changing, always creating, always expressing, expanding, and evolving. That is life with a capital L. The life of spirit, the life of God, the life of the infinite, expressing, and it is expressing right here and right now in each one of us. There is no other. And that is what gives me the authority to speak this word right here and right now. That it is through the practice of love, the practice of beauty, the practice of wholeness and oneness and joy and peace, that it becomes the expression of God, my life, your life, all life. And so this commitment to practice is embedded right now in the hearts and the minds of all within the sound of my voice. Practice, practice, practice. Practice so that the individual life is a representation of good, and practice so that the individual lives combining together for collective consciousness tip the scale in order to create a world that truly works respectfully for all. This is my prayer today, and I am grateful for knowing that Spirit has already said yes. This is manifesting right here and right now. And that allows me to surrender into it. And I invite you to join me in surrendering into that truth as well by saying, and so it is.
Thank you so much, Tracy. Thank you so, so much. You know, we've got some great opportunities, to practice. Oscar, there's a new circle, isn't there? Will you tell us about that?
There sure is, you guys. So we have a new circle, Mindfulness Meditation Circle. It's the third Tuesday of every month, beginning August 18th. So let's talk about what this is about. This is a new circle of life that teaches you and encourages you with your fellow community to actually engage in a practice, meditation, a daily practice of meditation. So do not miss it.
Yeah, another thing that's coming up in September, you can go ahead and check it out and put it on your calendar as a class. This thing called You that I'm teaching, it starts Thursday night, September 3rd. It's a 6-week course that you can take. It's all online. This is one of my top 5 favorite books of all times. It's an Ernest Holmes book called This Thing Called You. And we're going to read the book, explore it, have all kinds of experientials, and get a lot of spiritual practice in as well. So I invite you to register for that class and get in it with me. Don't put it off so you can keep practicing.
And also in September, starting September 6th, and then 3 consecutive Sundays after that, is our new member class. So if you're new to our community and you're interested in joining and becoming a full-fledged member, where you get membership rights like voting and you get to be a part of this community for good, you found your home. Starting to September 6th, 3 consecutive Sundays, noon to 1 p.m. on Zoom.
And we as a community continue to do community service, and that is, bringing our gifts and helping outside of our campus and our community itself. And so we've got an opportunity for you. It's something we normally do in the summer here at CSL Dallas, but we can't because of the pandemic. But that's not going to stop us all from saving at least 3 lives. So Carter Blood Drive is inviting us all to make an appointment with them. So if you're in the Dallas Metroplex area, and if you're not, I'm sure you have your local blood bank there as well. So we invite you during the month of August, and especially on Sunday, August 23rd, to give blood. And every time you give blood, you're saving 3 lives. And when you do that during the month of August, we're going to ask you to take a picture and tag CSL Dallas, send it to info@csldallas.org. We're going to collect and accumulate like we normally do to know how many lives all of us that are connected to CSL Dallas have actually done. And especially in the month of August, there is a dire need for blood, and that was pre-pandemic, and there's even more. So we want to encourage you to do that.
And you're invited to join our licensed practitioners after the service in the Zoom room where you can have your one-on-one affirmation affirmative prayer.
Yes.
Yes, so we're so grateful that you joined us here this morning. Thank you again, Tracy Brown. That was powerful. We're all going to practice even more. So now we're going to sing it out, and let's get ready to release and let go.
And I let go, let the Spirit of my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am released and I let go. Let the Spirit of my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for
Woo! Have a great week, everybody. Be safe, be well, be loved.